In this video, I'm going to discuss Fofar, which is a social gaming arcade, Memecoin, a place where people can share their art, one of the best crypto communities in the space. I am the Gaussian Snake. This is Crypto Simulation Theory. I'm also an admin for Fofar. I'm actually their analyst, and this video is going to be exactly that, a technical analysis, an analysis of price for my favorite project in the crypto space. Fofar, the first meme gaming platform on Ethereum. Smart contract ends in 0x420. So it's been a little while since I've done an update on this project, especially a technical update, and that's what I want to do today. I want to focus on the price and developments like that. First thing I wanted to show you is the bubble maps for Fofar. And, Fofar has one of the cleanest bubble maps and charts in all of crypto in terms of just how organic it is. You don't see bubble maps this clean, right? There's no gigantic bubbles or crisscrosses everywhere. There's just a few. And this is across almost 3,300 unique wallets. That's how many holders we have of Fofar. It's pretty insane how popular this project is. You know, and you can see it in this giant bull flag that just dates all the way back to April. It's just a massive bull flag. These are the stats that we have right now. And before I get into these stats, I want to kind of explain something to you about the altcoin market in general. So if you look at probably, the closest thing that I could kind of bring up here is this is a chart of others USD. And so this is measuring the strength of the altcoin market relative to its USD value. And you'll notice that we have yet to take out the high from November 2021 of others. Others is the altcoin market minus the top 10. I don't know exactly how many coins it includes, but it's a good representation of the altcoin market in general. And you can see we're building out quite a large flag here, extending back now 3 years. Unfortunately, like I said, this high failed to take out this one, so it is a technical lower high. We are crossing through a green concave down Gaussian channel, which is not a great thing, bearish Gunnar EMA. So while I do anticipate that we're going to get some relief likely soon for the altcoin market, it is hard to know exactly how deep that relief will be. We could look at something like the Snabble RSI to get an idea of how oversold we might be. So I've got a whole bunch of indicators pulled up here. Wave trend analysis shows us we're pretty oversold, but we could be more oversold. We haven't been down to this green region since January of 2023, so we could certainly pay it a visit. But this is a pretty bullish formation that's happened on the Snabble RSI. You can see that the reverse Chandy price momentum oscillator has also gotten pretty exhausted. So as far as like altcoins in general are concerned, it does seem like they're pretty exhausted in terms of sell pressure. So I would anticipate that, we get some kind of bounce here pretty soon that could provide some relief for the altcoin market and subsequently also for Fofar. So Fofar, of course, is going to follow the broader trend of the crypto market, being that it is a completely clean project with, contract renounce, no buy sell tax, no inflation. Everything you can think of that you'd want in a clean and smart contract is here. And you can see we have a $1.71 million market cap. At one time, we were much, much higher. We were on our way to $20 million, along with many other projects of this size, but unfortunately, Bitcoin took a few dumps. So it affected us pretty badly. And that's not unusual for the altcoin market. Look at most of the altcoin market and what happened to it. So we have 3,280 roughly holders, and no inflation, and our project was created April 3rd. So I'm going to move over to TradingView for most of my analysis, but I do want to point something out. Just some simple TA sometimes is the best TA. So if we just look at this chart, I'm going to actually move my avatar to a different location temporarily. I'm going to do more of an analysis on TradingView, even though TradingView's data includes some MEV, MEV bot wicks. These are bots that come into projects from the outside to front run trades, like Jared Subway or Jared from Subway Bot or whatever. That you can't avoid them; they're on all projects. Well, anyways, you can see here that the RSI, if you look at it, had a really nasty head and shoulders pattern, and it's just bled out in this RSI bear market. But what's really cool is that we did reach the lower level of around, it's hard to say, around 30, and we bounced, right? We bounced there, and we've been holding pretty steady here. So this, what's really fascinating is this chart almost perfectly matches the market psychology cheat sheet. I want to show you something really cool, um, just to kind of point what we might be in for. And it's fascinating how closely this matches. I'm trying to find a good cheat sheet to show you. Trying to pull this up. Yeah, I found one. So let's go ahead and share this tab. Maybe zoom in a little bit. So you can see kind of like the RSI for Fofar actually followed this trend, right? We got some euphoria, complacency, anxiety, denial, panic, anger. I think those were the whale cells. Are we here right now or are we here? I don't know. I can't tell you. We could be here or we could be here. Um, I don't know, and I'm not going to try to guess. But I think most of this is over, right? So if we go back to the RSI, and again, this is the RSI is the rate of change of price. You can see that we pretty much had that moment of anger, and now we're kind of hovering around underneath 40, which is pretty normal for the altcoin market at this stage, while Bitcoin is pretty much leading the show. So another thing that's actually kind of cool too is the moving average convergence divergence, or MACD, recently printed a bullish divergence. And it has been a long time since we've done this. This was on August 19th. Last time we printed a bullish divergence was July 13th. And before that was all the way back in June. So we've had 5 dark green days in a row, which is actually the most dark green days in a row we've had since May. So this is an encouraging sign. I mean, if you look at the signal line for the MACD and the 26-day minus 12-day, we've actually double bottomed on there. So, and it's also nice that we put in like a higher low with the red histogram bars. So I'm liking this formation right here. This is pointing to some price stability happening, even though the volume right now is still low. We've only had about $28,000 in volume over the last 24 hours. That's also pretty ubiquitous across the altcoin market as a whole. So I'm going to pull up the Fofar chart on TradingView simply because even though the data may not be entirely as accurate there as it is on dextools, I can do a lot more and analyze in greater depth than I can using the tools that are available to me on dextools. Okay, so this is again, this chart is not as accurate as the one on dextools. Includes a little bit more data than it probably should, but it's accurate enough to do a proper analysis, I feel. So unfortunately, the Gaussian channel for Fofar did turn red and it started to constrict. Um, and that's never a great thing. We did have this whale dump that happened, but notice that we are getting back above the 20-day whole moving average. Now you might wonder why I'm on a daily time frame. It's really hard to analyze a chart that's only been around for like, almost 5 months on a weekly time frame. We just don't have enough data quite yet. I will eventually move to the weekly time frame, but I'd like to have more data than what we have here to get a more clear picture. So you can see that at least we are above the 20-day moving average. We are riding the top of it right now. As far as the 50-day whole moving average goes, we're above that too. In fact, we had a golden cross right here of the 20 with the 50. So that is a good thing. All right, we're above the 50-day whole moving average. For the first time in quite a little while, what about the 100-day? Unfortunately, we're still beneath that. That is acting as resistance, and we haven't been around for 200 days, so we don't have a 200 days. So we're kind of squeezing a little bit here in a downtrend. So this is still technically a downtrend until proven otherwise. The Where is it? The Gaussian or the Gunnar EMA. I want to turn that on. Shows, and I'm going to turn off the whole moving averages just to not distract you too much with too many lines. So we can turn off the Gaussian channel too. We don't need that anymore. The Gunnar EMA shows we did have a bearish cross on August 1st, and the bearishness has kind of expanded a little bit since then. and we have been getting rejected at the lower boundary of the green gooner EMA. But what is encouraging to me is that we do appear to have, at least temporarily printed some kind of double bottom pattern here. And as long as we can hold these lows, and especially hold this low right here, this could turn into a nice reversal pattern. Again, I can't like predict these things, but that is just something that could happen. So, just for full disclosure, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I do own Fofar, in case you didn't know. I'm pretty sure you know if you're watching this video. And I was not compensated in any kind of way to make this video, nor was I asked to make it for them. And nothing in here should be taken as financial advice. Okay, I'm zooming in a little bit, and I want to point something out here. Now, this is on a daily time frame, but this is the parabolic SAR. And the parabolic SAR tells us if we're in an uptrend or a downtrend. And you can see the last time we were in an uptrend and it broke into a downtrend was, or I should say, last time we officially started, a downtrend on the SAR was on July 31st, and our first bearish SAR dot was August 1st, and these were kind of spaced apart. And what's nice is they're coming closer together, and it's kind of inflecting. So this is suggesting that some relief may be in store for Fofar, and you can kind of see like a little bit of a consolidation zone building out here. So I got to be honest with you, I don't necessarily see a new all-time high printing super soon. I think that's just kind of unrealistic to think that for most altcoins. I mean, it could happen. All right, I'm not. It's a micro cap. Anything can happen. But what I am starting to think is likely to occur, especially if Bitcoin pumps into rate cuts, is that some of that will spill over into altcoins like Fofar, and we could see Fofar start to come challenge some of these breakdown levels that happened. And I know that may not sound like super exciting to you if you're holding this at a loss right now. Believe me, I feel you on that. Um, but I think it is possible that we may try to challenge and get back to erasing a zero again. So something like this up here. Okay. I don't know that this will happen right away, but this is something I'm watching out for potentially in September. I could definitely see this happening. So you know, uh, if I were to draw an arrow here, it's not maybe not going to go straight up like this, and maybe not right now, like this very moment, but ignore the timeline down here. Um, and we could squeeze it and I could extend it out, but I could see something like this happening, right? Where you had this like sort of buying opportunity and then you get some FOMO. And what would cause this FOMO to happen? Well, first of all, Bitcoin getting a little more bullish helps. Altcoins in general getting a little, bit of a relief from Bitcoin dominance also helps. But the fact of what Fofar is doing, we have a team of somewhere like close to 20 really talented people. I'm talking artists, animators, developers, and our lead strategist has experience working actually with leadership of a nearly a $1 billion project from 2017. I think the market cap of the project that he worked on got up to around 800 million in 2017. Um, and he's fundraised like millions of dollars. And it's not just about money. Like his leadership style is absolutely excellent, inclusive, supportive. Can't say enough good things about him. We've got an amazing graphic designer. Just our team is incredible, and we're developing innovative products that don't exist in this space. So we've got NFTs coming out soon that have dynamic rarity traits, meaning that you can choose what traits you want on your NFTs. Social gaming arcade. There's a white paper that's going to be coming out really, really soon. So check out the Fofar Telegram and Twitter, so you can check that out when it's released. Anyway, back to the technical analysis. So I wanted to at least give you some kind of narrative. Now, narrative usually follows price action, not the other way around. But the excitement around all this new developments for Fofar and what it means for Fofar and the Boys Club, I think could give the energy that we need to get this leg up. It may not happen right away. Like we might still have some chopping to do, and maybe we don't get this pump until closer to September. But regardless of when it happens, I do think that it's going to happen. I think it's a very likely situation. I think we're going to face some resistance here at the 0.0001 level, and there may be a bit of a battle. And I don't really know what's going to happen after that. I can't predict that far into the future, but it just depends on what's happening with the broader market. We could head back down, we could get back above it and chop around, or the market could surprise us and we could, potentially retest some of these high levels. Not my base case, but it could happen. Okay, I think it can't happen is foolish. So, we're not going to really be able to get a lot of long-term visions here based off of such limited data, but we can at least get an idea of where price might go in the relative short to medium term future. Now, in terms of how good of a deal is Fofar right now, I'm going to pull up one of my favorite indicators for analyzing that, and that is the beam risk metric. And so the beam risk metric tells us how overvalued or undervalued an asset is. So generally speaking, the way that I interpret this is the green thick or the green line at the bottom is sort of like the zero line. That would represent kind of the break between extreme undervaluation and just undervaluation. Generally, the DCA zone for me is somewhere between 0 and 0.2. This is where most of my DCAs are likely to happen and where most of them have happened. Generally, if I'm getting in the zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.5 zone, sorry about my camera, it just turns off automatically and there's absolutely no way to change that. If I get in between the zero point 0.2 and 0.5 zone, that is generally where I may DCA depending on the trend, or I'm more likely to just hold at that point. When we get above zero point 0.5 to 0.65, I've got my eyes on the chart. I'm looking for potentially taking profits. And then anything above 0.65 is going to be a profit taking region, usually for me. For a coin like this, I probably would go higher than 0.65 just because it is a newer project and it has a lot of upside potential. But notice where we are now. We are more undervalued than we have ever been with this project, even compared to the beginning. So you have to think like if you're buying right now or holding right now, you are really in a great spot for what is likely to come. It's just it could take a while. Okay. It could take a very long while for this to happen. It may take months. It may take weeks. Who knows? I don't think it will take months. I think we're going to get back above here in quarter 4 of this year. That's my prediction. I think by quarter 4, we're up here. Could even start to happen in September that we're really crawling back up this way, or even we could even be doing that right now. Like my point is, you don't generally spend a ton of time down here without coming back up for air at the very least. Okay, just for comparison, I want to show you Fofar's friend Pepe. And the Pepe chart is quite comparable in a lot of ways. The behavior shares a lot of similarities with Fofar. Pepe, of course, being the lead Matt Furie Boys Club character, it's not surprising. Also having very clean tokenomics and a great team, that we would see something kind of similar in. So you remember what Fofar looked like? It kind of got up here to the orange level, but didn't quite make it. And then Fofar went really undervalued. And look, it's even happening around the same time. You have June, July, August, kind of getting this undervaluation, and you get this like massive undervaluation in October, and then you see Pepe sort of trying to come to life again, and it's brutal, right? Like Pepe spent like from the time that it first collapsed in like May of 2023, it took 9 months for it to recover. Okay, and to get into this like consolidation accumulation phase, and something like this could happen with Fofar. Okay, I don't think it would take as long, but it could. Okay. And we have to prepare ourselves either way, whether it's short or long, and it's not going to play out exactly the same way. But look what happened next. And look at how it just came out of almost nowhere. Pepe pumped like freaking crazy and it went into the profit taking zone. This is a dramatic pump that happened. Like if you measure the move that happened from this area here to just here, you're talking, like a 12x, like practically overnight. All right. And that wasn't the end of it. It pumped some more. And it's only now starting to cool off and consolidate again. And it's likely going to stay at these levels for some time. And the beam risk is going to come down and down and down. But what Pepe has done is it's carved out like a new floor that's higher than this long floor that it had. And so the reason I'm showing you that is to provide some perspective for Fofar. Um, sorry, Fofar wrap teeth. Yeah, like this will help provide some perspective for what's been going on with Fofar. You can see we were also near the orange and then we kind of came down and now we're in some undervaluation. It's pretty bad. And it looks like we're coming back up for air. And don't be surprised if this kind of screws around, in this zone for a while. And that's perfectly normal and healthy. And not financial advice, but you should view that as a DCA opportunity. That is a DCA zone. This is, you know, think about Pepe and think about buying it at these low levels and how you would feel a year later. And the bull market hasn't even really arrived yet. Pepe's already done so much. And if Pepe's done that much, and it's been around for a year longer than Fofar, it's in the same category as Fofar, has a strong team just like Fofar. Who's to say that we can't do something similar or even more impressive next year? I think we can, and I think we will very likely do something like that. So the beam risk indicator is indicating Fofar is in an area of severe undervaluation, even though these lows are higher than the opening ones. It's just time has to pass, right? Another thing that I wanted to point out is on the Wyckoff buy sell momentum. This is something I talk about a lot in the Telegram, the Fofar Telegram group, which you can actually find in the link to my video. You can see that actual buy and sell volume has just generally declined, right? And that's reflective of the altcoin market in general. It's a risk off time, so people are generally not buying as many altcoins as they were a little bit earlier. But you can see that our sell volume, even though we've had some pretty nasty sells, we've also had some pretty aggressive buys too. It's kind of tapering off, right? It's just this white line is pointing to just a decrease in volume in general. And this is volume momentum. I like to look at the momentum of volume. What you're probably used to seeing when people analyze volume is like this right here. Okay, you can look at this too and see that in general volume has been declining. And it's good to see sell volume declining. Sellers are getting exhausted. And that's what you want to see. You want to see that happen. Now, buyers aren't really coming in a big way either, but generally before buyers come in a big way, you want to see that the sell side pressures is starting to get exhausted. And to be honest with you, most of our sells have been from a few whales, like 90 to 90. I think it's actually was 95% of our market cap is held by long-term, medium-term and short-term holders. Like people from back from April and May, they haven't sold. They haven't sold a dime, and there are like over 3,000 of them. So that is something to keep in mind. Something else to note too is that Fofar lately has been more or less tracking what Bitcoin has been doing, and I can prove that to you by running a correlation study. So let me do that. So we'll do a correlation with Bitcoin. Just a moment. Let me turn off the wipe off. Okay. Look at how closely correlated Fofar has been with Bitcoin. Like when you're at these top green levels, it's nearly a perfect correlation. Only recently has it dropped off a little bit. I know that Bitcoin's kind of been pumping and Fofar has been kind of going sideways. So this is why you're seeing a zero correlation. So Fofar isn't doing the opposite of what Bitcoin's doing necessarily. Sometimes it's following it, sometimes it isn't. It's really a correlation of zero means there's at the moment no real relationship between the two. Bitcoin and Fofar are basically kind of doing their own thing. Sometimes they match up, sometimes they don't. This has happened before. This happened in July of 2024. This happened for quite some time, from May through June, and even a little bit here in early May. So this is not unusual. It's just a trend change, meaning that Fofar and Bitcoin are not doing the same thing that they were doing earlier. As far as relative strength to Bitcoin, I think there's some disappointing data here at the moment, but that is not something that has always been the case. Now I can't pull it up on a daily time frame, but if you look back at the entire history of Fofar, what you will notice is that Fofar does hold strength against Bitcoin. There are so many altcoin charts that are just flat out red all the way across, meaning that they don't keep up with Bitcoin or they don't outperform it. Fofar has a history of outperforming Bitcoin. And so if you're going to hold an altcoin in your portfolio, this is exactly the kind of altcoin you want to pay attention to, which is one that can hold its strength against Bitcoin. And Fofar does. It has been doing that. Okay, not all the time. No altcoin does, not even Ethereum. But just to see that this has been holding up strength against Bitcoin gives me even more confidence in holding this asset. As far as like other indicators we could look at the wave trend oscillator. Okay. And on the wave trend oscillator, we can see that we did print 3 green dots down here in the first week of August. You don't print these very often. These usually represent pretty big price drops. We've had a total of 3 of those in prior history. Could we get another one? Sure, we could. It's possible. It's probably likely to happen at some point. Um, but you know what? It's been a while. It's been a while since we've had a red dot. The last red dot was on July 15th. The last red dot before that was on June 24th. So this is where your asset is kind of heading more into a potentially overbought situation. I don't know if we can get. No, this is the 4 hour, by the way. Let's look at the daily time frame. I didn't realize I was still on the 4 hour. Although nothing wrong with the 4 hour time frame. So on the daily time frame, we've hit oversold on wave trend at least. This was on May 21st, which did correspond to our all-time high, and we've just kind of trended down, and we're flatlining right now. We actually have yet to get into the lower green region. So if we do, it's nothing to panic about. That would actually be healthy for a reset, but we also don't have to get down here. It's not a requirement. Let's see if there's any other indicators that we could look at on the daily that would be meaningful to us. I'm not sure that there are a whole bunch more that we could look at. We've already looked at quite a few. Yeah, I think, I'm just kind of scanning right here to see if there's anything else that I haven't really talked about. Did I talk about the Snabble RSI? I think I did, but if I didn't, here it is. No, I don't think I did. So the Snabble RSI went put in an all-time low of around 11 on August 6th of that capitulation. This is not something that you expect to happen often, although it can happen multiple times on a daily time frame. We had another higher low put in, and actually we formed a bullish divergence because of that on the Snabble RSI, which was reflected in the MACD. I did show you the MACD earlier. So this is actually pointing to potential, like I said, relief. Is it going to take us back up to the red zone up here where we're going to, putting in all-time highs? I don't think that's likely to happen right away, but I think we will make our way back up there at some point. What we could see now is a period of relief where we start to maybe try to challenge the 50 level, this 40 to 50 level, and just chop around in here. And then maybe we head back down again and then come back up. I don't mind seeing this chop. This chop is healthy, and it is a direct reflection of what's going on with the altcoin market in general. I'm kind of curious. I did a correlation study on Bitcoin. Data doesn't lie. Let's do a correlation study on others. I've never done this before, so I don't even know what to expect. Let's just see how Fofar compares with the altcoin market in general. And you can see that when we were having our big capitulation, the rest of the altcoin market was also doing the same thing. That's what this green is. Right now, we're just kind of doing our own thing, right? Like we are going sideways, but with a slightly bullish bias, where this is basically saying, hey, you know what? Most altcoins are just, some altcoins are going up, some are going down. There's really not a lot that's not a lot you could say here. But what's really interesting is this moment in history in May through June, right? Let me pull out the crosshairs. So we had a period, right, where, or I should say before this, in May through June, we were pretty much doing what the altcoin market was doing in general, right? So if you look here in April, the altcoin market had some relief. We had some relief. Then we actually pumped right here in mid-May when most of the altcoin market was actually kind of being held back or dumping a little bit. We put in our top when a lot of all other altcoins were popping off. Unfortunately, and then right here is what I want to show you. So when we pumped over here in what was it, May 28th to June 3rd, most of the altcoin market was actually not pumping during that time. It was dumping. So, just seeing that Fofar has had that history where it has actually pumped while the altcoin market dumped, it points to the strength of this asset. You're going to go look through the altcoin market right now and you're going to find nearly nothing that looks good. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to study the history of your project. You have to look at the fundamentals of your project. You have to see, does this project have a team that is putting in the hours, putting in the time? Do they have clean tokenomics? Do they have a clean smart contract? Do they check off all of the boxes that you would want them to check off? And The answer for Fofar is absolute yes. There's so much going on here. I suggest you join our Telegram, by the way. So there's a link right here on their website, fofar.io. Super easy to remember. We've got a roadmap. You can see all the stuff that's coming our way. Awesome stuff coming soon. And this is just going to help our cause. It's going to increase the bullishness, increase the FOMO. We've got so many developments. Again, we've got no taxes, burn liquidity, renounce a smart contract. Here's the contract address. We've got awesome animations. You can get Fofar right now on Uniswap or Poloniex. There's going to be some more exchanges coming our way soon. Just stay tuned for details on that. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this really lengthy, in-depth dive into Fofar's tokenomics, fair distribution, and technical analysis. My summary is that the altcoin market in general is going to be in rocky waters for some time. I think we're going to get a relief rally soon, but I unfortunately don't believe that that's the end of trouble for altcoins. I think that we have to take into account that the market is risk off right now, but rate cuts are coming. And I think it just depends on what the Fed decides to do as to what effect that has on altcoins. So this is the time for projects to be building. This is the time for communities to be forming and the time to position yourself for the coming bull run. Would you rather buy when the asset is undervalued and has so much upside potential, or do you want to buy higher? This is not financial advice, but I've been buying Fofar at these levels, and I have no trouble buying it at these levels. I am at a little bit of a loss right now, maybe more than a little bit, but I don't mind. I don't care because you know what? All altcoins are bleeding right now. I believe in this project. I believe in the team. I believe in what we're doing. And you can see it in the Telegram every day. You can see it on Twitter. We are a cohesive unit and we are outputting products. We are outputting value. And we are trying to develop a project that is going to transform the way meme coins are viewed. Like it is truly revolutionary what's going on at Fofar. And by the time it's obvious, our price will be probably 100 to 200x at least from where it is now. So they call it investing for a reason, right? You get in and you're speculating. So if you want to buy some Fofar, I will drop all that information in the video description. If you just want to check out the community first and ask some questions, feel free to come into our Telegram, go to Twitter, and ask away. Whatever you have, we have a team willing to answer. We'd be happy to talk to you. So this is Crypto Simulation Theory. I am the Gaussian Snake. I have my own Telegram group, the Snake Pit, which I would also encourage you to join if you like daily market updates, market analysis, and a community of like-minded people who love to look at charts and speculate on the market and share strategies. Otherwise, I will see you again next time. Once again, I do hold Fofar. This video was not paid for by the Fofar team or compensated in any kind of way, nor did anybody ask me to make this. It is of my own will and volition. And you should do your own research and come to your own conclusions. I wish you the best in this market, and I hope that you make lots of money. Next year during what I believe is going to be a spectacular bull run. Till then, take care and stay safe out there.